Okay, well, I had no sound, guys. Okay, we're back. So sorry about that. Welcome everybody to the chat. I'll repeat all that. I just said hello. Let's go ahead and just first say hello to everybody. Arwin, Yusuf, Itchy, LJ, West, PJ, Jack Trading, William. Nice to see you. Joe, His Highness, Sirius, Pamela, Paul, PJ Mike. Good to have all you guys here. Yeah, so it's been a few days that we haven't had any streams. Feels like it's been a little while. Appreciate you guys all being here, hanging out tonight. I'm not going to do a bunch of recap tonight. I may do a different live stream where we do a recap later on. Been really busy between work and all the various things. I've got two podcasts that I want to try to put together. One of them you can catch on my live stream. The other one I haven't published yet. But I want to do a little bit of edits and push it out there as an official Hard Truths podcast, the one with Brad Voorhees you guys can check out, regarding future humans is what I'm going to frame it as, at least, although it's more than that, of course. Let's see, but as a couple quick updates before we dig into it today, we're going to watch these videos related to some new updates on the Thunderstorm generator, and we're going to comment live on some of those. And yeah, we'll have a short stream. I say that every time. We'll see how it goes. And then, what was I going to say? Crap. Oh, yeah. So I did unblock just now Steve Cambria, the Truth Seeker, just in case he wants to set something up. I might set it up. I'm not really afraid to talk to anybody. I think it might be kind of we might get a lot of viewers if we do like a stream with a co-stream. I probably will set it up as a co-stream situation. It's kind of like what's his name, Mike Tyson versus that one influencer kid. I already forgot his name. Cheers, chat. Yeah, did you? Oh, yeah. Hey, Anthony. Welcome, everybody. Glad to see you guys here. Yeah. But AKA Neo. And yeah, I think that would be a fun stream. Funny part is I'm not, like, my opinions aren't that far off from some of these guys, right? Like, I guess you could say I'm the bad boy of UFOlogy because, like, I think there's something going on, but I think that a lot of these people are full of crap. And then some of them as well are just, like, it's just a big game to them, right? So I prefer the science stuff. I want to talk more about the science stuff in general, and that's why we're going to talk about the Thunderstorm generator, right? If you guys want the UFO news, you can watch Skyfire News. You can go to Twitter. If you want to hear what the debunkers have to say, you can watch Cambria and Neo, whatever his name is, and these other guys. And if you want to watch the Believer people, you can watch Weaponized and any other millions of podcasts that are out there, right? I might go over some of that stuff in general, but not that interested in it. You guys know what I like. I like teleporting things. So let's get straight to the topic at hand. Thunderstorm generator. Thunderstorm generator is a device that is, I don't know if it's patented, but it's certainly produced by Malcolm Bendall. He's been in the Maldives for 7 years working on his device. And based on a paper by Bob Greenyer, it produces over unity. The paper was published in Nature, Journal of Nature. Bob Greenyer is a co-author on it. And one of the lines in it says COP greater than 1.05. COP is coefficient of performance. That means you're getting more energy out than you're putting into it. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean you're getting energy out as electricity, but there's more energy in the form of heat that is being put out. So this is not really the holy grail, but it's something that seems pretty special out there. So a bunch of people have recommended Alchemical Science to me, which we've looked at their stuff before. He's definitely a big fan of Bob Greenyer and Malcolm Bendall. So check out Alchemical Science. We're going to be watching his video today, and we're going to be commenting probably every 30 seconds or so we don't get copyright striked, but who knows? If we do, we do. Doesn't really matter. Not really trying to do this for money. One thing I will say, though, before we start is I am, of course, I'm still late with this which is the Mentor pilot situation. If you guys want to see the notes that I've taken already on it, this is the work that I've done so far already. So you can see this isn't going to be a little joke thing. Like, I've got a bunch of stuff ready to go. But as just a spoiler, like, the technical analysis of the Mentor pilot stuff is fine. There's nothing wrong with the technical analysis. It's just the investigation and evidence analysis of this particular video is just high. It's lacking. I mean, is really all there is to it. And there's a few times where he speculates in not a dishonest way, but in a just not really like fair way to the weight of the evidence, especially when he talks about this second communication. A lot of people ping me about this second communication out there, and there's nothing special about it. There's nothing nefarious about it. Communication, that guy sounds totally normal. It's not even the last communication, and he reads like way too much into it. Which is kind of weird, but it's obviously in his mind, he's already got it set that he thinks this is some kind of like pilot suicide narrative, right? So I'll be digging into all of that. I'm going to try to make a video about it that's less than 10 minutes that goes over all the claims. Weirdly, I'll give you guys a little sneak peek. He falsely claims at around 10:40 into this video that there's no dangerous goods on board. And then he immediately says, and he doesn't even say the right amount. He says there's like 2,000 pounds of lithium-ion batteries, which I think we found that there's 487 pounds. Imagine thinking that dangerous lithium-ion batteries in the cargo of your plane is not dangerous, right? This honestly makes me question his credibility in its entirety. If you are a pilot and you don't think that having lithium-ion batteries in your hold is unsafe, then I question whether or not you're really a pilot. There's a reason why you can't have them in your carry-on luggage. There's a reason why when you go mail a letter, they ask you if there's any lithium-ion batteries in your letter. And it's because they're not safe. And having 500 pounds of them stacked on top of each other is extremely unsafe. So it's very weird how he glosses over it. You guys can listen to it yourself. It's at about 10:40. The Malaysian Airlines CEO even lies about it. So I'll be digging some of that. And it's weird how he just ignores like literally everything about the witnesses. He ignores all the witnesses. He ignores all the witnesses in the Maldives, the fire suppression device that was found. He ignores the fact that the flight path is consistent with an emergency event. He ignores the fact that they're flying to Penang. Like, a bunch of weird stuff, right? So it's not that these people who, and there's another one, the green dot one as well, which I probably won't go into the green dot one, but the issue isn't that they're not like doing good investigation, or I guess that is the issue. They're not doing good investigation work. That's really what it boils down to, right? They're trying to make content for money. And then the other thing too is that this person's got 1.3 million views on this in the last 3 days. 1.3 million views. They're making tens of thousands of dollars off of this video. Tens of thousands. And they're also having endorsements or whatever, what is it called? Commercials or whatever in the middle of their videos. Like, he has a literal like several minute long commercial in the middle of his video here as well, where he just like basically like plugs some product. So he's got literally brand deals, and he's got like go to this thing and put code pilot in to get 60% off stuff, right? Like, this is literal grifting. Like, this is actually the definition of grifting. This is the definition of profiting off the tragedy, right? It's the definition of it. So it's weird that I don't see a lot of people ripping on this guy for profiting off the tragedy with a fake story, which is what he's doing in this video, right? He's promoting a completely fake story of the plane crashing into the ocean where we never found it. And he even goes into the whisper data. But you don't see anybody going, this guy's a ghoul for profiting off the tragedy, which tells you something very strong, which is that it's not that people are upset about talking about the case. It's that they're upset that the reality of the MH370 videos completely shatters their brain, right? Completely shatters their worldview. That's what's got them upset. Nobody's mad that anyone's hurting the families. Nobody's really mad about that, right? If they were, they'd be all over this guy, right? Because he's making tens of thousands of dollars from this video alone, right? And I'm going to go ahead and just ban this guy from my chat. Okay, you're gone. You had your chances, weirdo guy. So just to be clear here, like, this is what profiting off of the tragedy is. I've made nothing off of this, right? That's the exact opposite of it. I probably should be making money off of it. So just goes ahead and tell you that anybody who is arguing about profiting off the tragedy or trying to throw that at me, they are 100% full of shit. That is a completely bad faith argument. 100%. Anybody who's making those kind of arguments is a bad person. You are a bad person if you're pretending like I am profiting off of a tragedy. You are simply a bad human being. And I hope that you get better in this life. 100%. And if I see comments like this idiot why fools who's just a complete asshole, guy's a complete utter loser, don't act like this, guys. Do not act like this guy acts. Be a better human being, right? He's never getting unblocked. So he can go cry on the other channels or whatever he wants. Okay, now let's dig into the fun stuff. Now that we've dealt with that. I think you guys know at this point that I'm not somebody who you're going to be able to troll and what have you. I'm not your, YouTuber on Twitch or whatever crap like that. You are going to get smacked down like a little child if you act like a child. So do not act like a child in this stream. Okay. Enough of that. Okay, so we're digging into this video here, and it starts off with... Oh, I gotta fix the sound. It starts off with Bob Greenyer. Yeah, Sky News grifted too. A lot of these people are grifting, right? And they're just selling fake stories, which don't have... The thing is, they don't have any evidence to support them, right? When it comes to these other MH370 videos, even the YouTubers, like the weird YouTubers that like try to debunk us, the irony is they're the ones grifting off of it, right? They're the ones making the money off of it, not me. I don't get any money from anybody else's podcast stuff, anything like that. I never sold any books or even advertised anything. Okay, here we go.
Boom! This is absolutely incredible.
Welcome to Alchemical Science. I'm Jordan, and I've got some really sick from my small smile that, and by the fact that I'm releasing this video straight afterwards, that they're not disappointing results. I'm just going to play a couple of clips of Bob, though, explaining what he was going to be looking for and what it would mean if he would find what he was looking for in his previous videos before he got the results back.
Basically, the role of the MFMP was to help people.
If you don't know what MFMP is, it's the Malcolm... Oh, God dang it, what is it? Martin Fleischmann Memorial Project, MFMP. So Martin Fleischmann was a scientist. That's what the Martin Fleischmann Memorial Project is in honor of and in memory of. Bob is a super cool guy, super chill guy. He's an engineer, experimental one who's in the labs, right? Not a guy that is just making up stuff, making up stories, you know. He knows all the scientists, and he... to give you guys the background on this real quick as well. Actually, let's listen a little bit, and then I'll give you guys the background, because I have to pause every so often.
And sometimes you're going to try and help people that don't have something. You know, we tried to help people in the past that actually we found out they didn't have anything. This is what I'm saying about the Thunderstorm generator, is every time I make a prediction, it seems to actually physically have that, and it's based on historical understanding and also our own research, and so it's not a very hard guess to make, and it seems to have it. So, like, let's see what happens. The samples are in this container here, and they will be shipped off to the beamline.
I wonder
tomorrow.
if this is from the paper.
They say it's going to take 5 to 6 weeks to have the results back. I mean, either a higher abundance of 13 carbon, 14 carbon, or 15 nitrogen, they would be earth-shattering results. You know, they'd just be earth-shattering results. So let's see what happens. And there's a lot more material to look for. If this is pointing in a positive direction, then I'm going to scrape some of the sulfur deposits off and see if there's an abundance of sulfur 34.
Okay, so I was on. I don't know if he's posted the Foxhole interview, but I was on with Bob and Paul Shatskin, who is an author, and he was on Paul Shatskin was on the Thomas Thompson Brown documentary with Jesse Michaels. He was the guy that Jesse was talking to for the most of it. So we did a 3-way interview with them on George Howard's YouTube, and Bob told us the story of the Malcolm Bendall situation. Is that he ran across Malcolm Bendall because he was given information and said you guys should meet up with him, and he met up with him, and he started to research the Thunderstorm generator with no expectations, and was like, whoa, this is like consistent with the stuff that I've been working on. And why is that pretty crazy is that that's the same way where apparently he found out about me. I think it was Bernie from the Alien Scientist was actually, he claimed at least he was the one who told Bob about the videos and my work. And then he started looking at him. So it's kind of interesting. You see all these different ways where people are coming together, right? So let's keep going.
There is, that implies production of oxygen 17, which is similar to what is supposedly happening in Binger and Huang's cavitator. And then we have a combined understanding, based on the operation of ball lightning, which is in sync with the ball lightning explosions that we've seen in Vega experiments of Henk Uren, and the ball lightning crenellated ion spheres that we've seen in other cavitation systems like the Ultra experiment, and in electrical discharge systems and plasma carbon in the supernova and nova reactors. Everything's lining up with the observation of physical ball lightning spectra and how it decays, and the fact that nitrogen is going down at the end there and there's still silicon and nitrogen, 2 nitrogens is silicon, and it's like, okay, all right, so probably it is like this.
Okay, so I'm just going to give a quick breakdown of what he's saying as opposed to listening to it here, is that there's a certain crossover on this with transmutation and alchemy, right? Which is conversion of elements into different elements. And so with respect to the Thunderstorm generator, what he's saying here is if the results come back and we have these certain elements that we are expecting, then it's going to mean that it's working and it's producing what we're doing. And thank you guys for the awesome comments in the chat. One thing as well, oh, hey, Gerald. One thing that I'm going to try to do here in the next couple of days, I'm going to try to produce a new template thing here, whatever overlay that we have, so that we don't have to have the chat in here like this. I don't have to do full screen. It'll look a little bit better. I'm going to be producing better thumbnails. I'm going to redo all the thumbnails. And I'm going to rename my podcast as well. The podcast is, not really. It's going to be pretty much the same, but it's going to be Ashton Forbes' Hard Truths podcast. And the reason for that is there's already like 10 different Hard Truths podcasts, so it's harder to find. But my name is very unique, I found out. So we're going to use my name instead, and that's for search engine optimization purposes. So, yeah. Oh, okay. We'll do it right now as well. Thank you, Sirius. Said spoke to Diamond and found me. That's awesome. Bernie, I don't know if you heard, but I told them, that's Crypto Alchemist in the chat. I told them that Bernie was supposedly the one who connected me with Bob, which crazy small world, how this all works. Appreciate it, guys. I've only been on for 20 minutes, guys, and we're reviewing the Thunderstorm generator and these additional results. So the question here is, can this really produce over unity? What we're expecting from the Thunderstorm generator is over unity, okay? So which is more energy output than was being put in. If that's happening, that's why Bob's talking to me, earth-shattering, right? If we can produce cold fusion, the power of a sun in the palm of our hand, without even fusion power, right? Then that would be incredible. And interestingly enough, when I was on the interview with George Howard in the Foxhole, with Paul Shatskin and Bob Grenier, I asked them about toroids. And Paul Shatzkin went, well, you mean like Tomac or whatever, which is the DOE, Department of Energy fusion thing that they've been promoting, the Tomac toroid. And he said, I don't think it's going to happen from that. And I was kind of surprised. And Bob said, I don't think so either. It's not what I expected. And so I think Bob is expecting that something like this will be the way for it to happen. Yeah, we evoked Bernie.
And a lot of mysteries are going to be solved, but a lot of opportunities are going to happen. But when you've got the US Air Force and the US Navy absolutely obsessed with cavitation and making sure no one's researching it, and if they do research it, that they're discredited. And if you got people that are looking at ball lightning like John Hutchison and making sure that they're discredited in some way, but you're still doing the research, I think that's what it is.
I love his eye movements here. Okay. Let's watch some of this.
Unity and nuclear transmutation systems.
Okay, so I mean, he just said the words, right?
In my view, the process is definitely there. It's the same process that occurs in nature, and we've seen it in several other over unity and nuclear transmutation systems with exact
over unity and nuclear transmutation, right? Bada bing, bada boom, right? So when we have fission, we have atoms coming together. Nuclear reactions, I think was when we split the atom, right?
Exactly the same product produced by different authors in different periods of time. Something that we can replicate at will. If we find nitrogen-15, that implies that there is neutron synthesis. However that's occurring, right? There is a proton, it's taking an electron in, it's making a neutron. If we find an abundance of carbon-13, again, it's producing a neutron, right? And this implies that you can get stepwise production all the way up to, let's say, carbon-14, because that is 2 neutrons going into carbon. And what does carbon-14 do? It decays, right? It decays back.
Oh, there's Malcolm. Yeah, so guys, he's basically talking about how we can produce new elements from fusion power. And maybe we have it here at high temperatures. They call it cold fusion, but it's a bit of a misnomer. Kind of like how anti-gravity is a bit of a misnomer. It doesn't require cold temperatures.
To nitrogen-14, okay? But that normally takes, 6,700 plus or minus 30 years. But I've argued that within this intense magnetic flux system, that will happen very, very quickly, right? So you'll get the nitrogen synthesized that way. But here's the thing. This beamline that I sent the sample to, they said, so what is the sample from? I said, it's from an internal combustion engine. And they said, well, why do you want to look for nitrogen? Why do you want to look for carbon-14? Because, of course, it's all fossil fuel. It shouldn't have any carbon-14 in there, right? Shouldn't have any. And I said, it's because of the special way this may be working. I want to see if there's any carbon-14. So whilst it might be remediating a lot of the carbon-14 instantaneously, we do know that LENR has been proven to produce tritium, right? And that's because tritium is the first radioactive isotope that is, how should we put this? It's, what isn't it?
So pretty much the same thing we just mentioned, right? So we'll go through this a little bit quicker because I also don't want to just replay the whole video here. But so what he's saying here, right, is that it's going to produce, if we find carbon-14, this is something we wouldn't expect. This is going to explain that we have the processes going on that we would expect here for low-energy nuclear reactions, which will theoretically change everything. So let's skip ahead to the summary.
Okay, so did Bob find anything that he mentioned he was looking for here? Anything with potentially world-shifting implications? Yeah, of course he did.
Yeah! He found it. I was a little bit worried, chat. I was worried as to whether or not the answer was going to be yes or no. I mean, I assumed it was because big news is in, you check here, but not 100% sure. But also, I know this stuff is real, so I guess I kind of did have a spoiler alert. But sometimes I was still scared anyway, right?
Here are the results. Drum roll.
Why am I only hearing from the left side?
The radiocarbon age of this material is 30,165 years.
I don't know what that means, but this looks good.
30,165 years. Now, think about that for a minute. What does that mean? Well, that means it has got carbon-14 in there. That also means...
Do you say that it does have carbon-14 in there? If the cavitator is making carbon-14, then it means the way carbon-14 made is incorrect. If it's incorrect, then carbon-14 dating is wrong. Wow, that would be huge. Thanks, William. If that's true, that's pretty... I don't know if that's true or not.
Any biological material like pure biodiesel or some gas from a tip gas, for instance, because that wouldn't even register as being anything other than a few weeks.
So here is the certificate from the lab. The analysis was done by Vilnius Radiocarbon Accelerator Mass Spectrometry Laboratory Center for...
So this says March 14th. So this was actually just 5 days ago. If you guys are watching this live, it's 5 days ago. Otherwise, it was a little bit older than that. Material sample food crust. Mr. Bob Green, your quantum heat. Date sample of receiving, February 1st. Analysis date, March 14th. So it took like 6 weeks for this to get done. They used a single stage accelerator mass spectrometer, SSAMS. USA is presumably where it happened. Samples were pre-treated with standard acid-base acid protocol. Okay.
Physical Sciences and Technology in Lithuania. It's a specialized lab, highly focused on this very small range of masses, so it's highly accurate. The sample was taken from a Thunderstorm generator unit, submitted by Bob himself. Received back these results on the 14th of March, a couple of days ago before this video. And he labeled the samples here as food crust, or they did. And this is just due to the fact that the guys in the lab had no idea why he was testing a sample from a combustion engine for carbon-14. I believe this is the case. Bob talks about it in the video. But you can see the equipment and method of analysis here on the certificate. And then down further, here are the results on the analysis on the inside of the outside sphere sample from the Thunderstorm generator. And the carbon was dated to be 30,165 years old. And this means we do indeed have carbon-14, like Bob was looking for.
Baby.
So this is very, very, very positive.
Let's go, Bob.
This is...
Let's go, Bob. What?
A boom! This is absolutely incredible. But hold your horses.
Yahtzee.
Hold your horses. I'm thinking to myself.
No. Not like this, Bob. Don't you bring my high down right now, Bob. I've got a natural high going right now. Don't you dare, sir. Don't you dare. Okay, so what does the chat say? Chat says carbon-14 dating is broken. There shouldn't be any carbon-14 in that sample. Carbon-14 is absolute. Stuff about pyramids of Giza. Carbon-14 must be made by low-energy nuclear reactions if it's in there. Ooh, that's very spicy. It's been well known that carbon-14 dating is inaccurate to millions of years past 12,000 years ago because of the last micronova event. I don't know what it means. Ashton, have you ever considered growing a beard? Guys, can somebody take one of those, I don't know, Instagram filters or whatever and see what I would look like with a beard? Or is there like an app I can download or something? I want to figure out what I would look like with a beard. Like, because have you guys seen the before and after of Dave Rossi without a beard and before and after the beard? It's like a completely different human being. That would maybe add like 20 years to my look, honestly. Anyway, so let's see what else we have to say. Oh, the solar arc discharge causes similar disruptions to carbon-14. Krypton dating. Krypton, is that like kryptonite? Superman's weakness? Seems least affected and the most accurate. Guys, I don't do the Yahtzee very often anymore, but I think this might be the moment. Don't let us down. Don't let us not. I'm not doing any goatees or soul patches. I'm not Lou Elizondo out here.
Wait a minute. If you know that the half-life is 5,730 years, plus or minus 30 years, and as you can see here, the date it's being given is about 30,165 years, That sounds about a bit like 5 times 5 half-lives have occurred. So I'm thinking to myself, could it be that they used biodiesel or a diesel biodiesel mix? Here's me thinking that and I've said it before, that the generator in Australia was using diesel. I've said it on my streams. You can go back to my streams. I was under the impression that that generator was diesel.
So I don't know what he's saying here, but I'm going to go ahead and just play this because I missed playing it when I wanted to. Hold on. Wait for it. Wait for it. Carbon 14. This is my favorite meme now, guys. Easily my favorite meme. I might just leave it up on the side just in case we get another booyah moment.
And so I thought I'd better go and look and see what kinds of biofuels mix they do in Australia. And it turns out you can go and look at...
Yeah, hey JL, hey Jade, hey Langley, hey Lobster. Yeah, if you can't hear correctly, it's because the audio, I think, is messed up. Like, it's only coming out of the left side of my headphones.
This on
But apparently this is from the source.
Wikipedia. And I'll read specifically from Wikipedia. It says, the names of the diesels in Australia indicate the percentage of biodiesel the fuel contains, with B5 containing 5% biodiesel. Well, that wouldn't fly. Biodiesel blends, most commonly B5 and B20, are becoming increasingly available at service stations in all Australia.
Once we get to the next big thing here, I'll give you guys a quick rehash.
States. Up to 5% biodiesel can be included in any diesel sold in Australia without additional labelling. So, here's me thinking. If you've got 20% biodiesel in fossil fuel, that would give us a radiocarbon dating of about what we see. So yesterday afternoon, I phoned up Malcolm Bendall, and I asked him, I said, Malcolm, where were you getting your diesel from that you ran in that generator? And he said, we weren't using any diesel at all. What are you talking about? I said, sorry, I thought it was a diesel generator. He says, no, it runs on natural gas. Ah, it runs on natural gas? Really? He said, yes. Why? I said, well, and I hadn't told him the radiocarbon date. I said, it turns out that this has gone through about 5 half-lives. It would have caught, it's like it's biological material that's gone through 5 half-lives. So, right. Well, then what we are looking at here in this here is potentially a real thing.
Hello! Yeah! Bingo! Chick-fil-A sauce? Over Unity? Cold Fusion? It's real, chat. It's 100% real. It's all real. Okay, if you just joined us, we are looking at the newest updates from Bob Grenier. Tested the Thor, the Thunderstorm generator, the Vortex tube, where if you look at the image, I'll pull the image up for you guys, chat. This is the thumbnail for a reason. This is the main mechanism that happens in the Thunderstorm generator. Bob looked at it. He thought that we were seeing cold fusion happen. The way we would determine whether or not that's what's happening is that we would look for the presence of carbon-14. If they find carbon-14 in the samples, then it means there is some type of alchemy that's happening and potential over unity as well. Just from this process where you have these double tubes, right? Like, if this is real, you guys are going to see this on Joe Rogan, right? So when you guys watch this on Joe Rogan, like several months from now, or maybe a year from now, just remember this stream. You guys were here before everybody else. You heard it before everybody else. When you're sitting there and people are talking about on Twitter and social media, this can't be real. This has got to be fake. Nope. You guys heard the science. You've already watched the YouTube videos. You've already seen it. Okay? So this is what Bob Greener's talking about. So he was worried for a second. He thought, well, if it's running on diesel, then maybe it's due to the fossil fuel that was used that was giving us a false result. Right? And then he found out, no, he called up Malcolm Bendall, and it turned out that he was using natural gas. He wasn't even using diesel. So that means, boom, it's producing carbon-14. It's producing elements that it shouldn't be able to produce, right? Yeah. And to Bernie says in the chat, Crypto Alchemist, you're finally getting on to what I've been working on for the last 10 years, and it's 100% real. Yeah, this has been the craziest part for me as somebody who loves science, digging into this, is finding out that the science is right out there. And one of the things that I asked George about, because George was telling me the story of all this stuff a few weeks ago, and I said, how recently is all this stuff? Like, did this happen years ago? He's like, no. He's like, no, this just happened like back in August. I'm like, whoa, like this is as fresh as the MH370 investigation, right? But these people have been studying this for years, and we are getting in on the cutting edge of all of this stuff, right? And this is what's so fun and crazy about it, right? And this is why early on I was like, guys, we are on the cutting edge of this science. That's the truth. That is the absolute truth. Like, we jumped into this at the perfect time where we are figuring it out before the public does. And back in the day, it used to be that social media was the place where you could get the truth before the public did. Now I'm talking like 10 years ago or more. And then it flipped. And now social media is just as censored as everywhere else. Every debunker and idiot is all over social media and everybody's just trying to conform to everybody else's beliefs, right? And so now we have to go back to the old school investigations. The stuff that we're doing right here, right now, which is looking at the science, talking to the scientists themselves. Like the people that we've been talking to, Salvatore Pais, Bob Greenyer, Dave Rossi, and all the other guys. Some of these guys could be famous in the future, right? Who knows? Maybe we could be famous in the future if the MH370 videos end up being real, which I think we know they are, but I don't know if the world will ever figure it out. So that's why this is so big. That's why it's so amazing. That's why I'm glad you guys are all here with us on this adventure. This is also why I don't really harbor or really allow the trolls to bring us down, because the reality is this stuff's going to end up being real, and it doesn't matter how many people believe in it or don't believe in it. It's not a matter of belief. Science has never been a matter of belief. Science has been testing observable reality.
Now, here is the actual chart. So you have the ox calibration source.
I've got this girl, the Chick-fil-A girl on the other screen, just over and over. I can't focus. I literally can't focus. I have to close it.
Up here, atmospheric data from
Funniest meme
Reimer.
ever.
It's all calibrated. They've got a probability, 68.3% probability of it being 32,775 years, and it has a 95.4% probability of being 33,166 years. And so they calculate it at the peak of this probability curve of being 30,165 plus or minus 188 years. That is the date of this material.
So Bob Greenyer is like, dude, it doesn't even matter. Like, any of these dates basically prove it to be correct. Like, it would have to say like 100 years or something, or like 10,000 years for it to like have any question, right? Hey, Tupacabra, welcome, man. I hope you guys had a good stream on Skyfire News. I was watching early on with Vetted. That was pretty awesome. And yeah, science is a matter of fact. It's a matter of, experimentation. And this is why I love people like Bob Greenyer, Dave Rossi, and Salvatore Pais, because they're engineers. They're people that are in the lab and they see it themselves, right? We thought Tupacabra was black this whole time, guys. Yeah, turns out he's just a mixed race. Kind of a letdown, but still fine. He's got the voice. My man has the voice for podcasting, for sure.
Okay, so this has totally profound implications. It is a stunning finding.
All right, so we have another incredible finding, just what should be expected from something like this, and it's an enormous step forward. So what does it mean? More analysis, more tests, sure. But at this point, we can see that Thunderstorm Generator, it works. It's producing a result. It's becoming more certain by the day that we're looking at stepwise transmutation of the elements.
Yeah, I mean, so this is huge. Stepwise transmutation is presumably like following like what would be the logical step for the next element to be produced, and then you taking that to the next element further, right? And just real quick, I want to throw some love to the chat and everybody who's here, because I think that very few of us, some of you guys who are the hardcores, you guys know who you are out there, the scientists, Bernie, Gerald, etc., the people that have been looking at this forever, you guys be looking into it now anyway, right? For people like me and probably a lot of other people in the chat, we would never be doing this if it wasn't for the MH370X investigation, right? Without that investigation, that's changed my life. I think Sandy was saying something in Discord I want to read real quick as well. She said, Ashton, you're not the same guy I met back in August. So proud of your development. I feel like I've learned at your master class. I've also developed my own worldview. Once you get comfortable, you can open your eyes, right? This is what's been so incredible about this group, is that we are all learning it together. We're looking at stuff that we probably would never understand or look at without all of us being together and digging into this stuff. And it's, going to set us apart from everybody else, right? I think that not only has it changed our lives, it's given us, some of us, purpose. And this is what I wanted out of MH370X, which was for people to find a common purpose where we can rally around the science. We can reverse engineer the science that we see in the videos. We can enlighten ourselves. We can help humanity. Now, it's not going to be the thing we do tomorrow, right? But it's the kind of thing where we learn the science, and then in the future, as this comes out, we can educate other people. We can take advantage ourselves, right? We can invest in the right things. We can help set policies. Whatever little corner of the world that we are in charge of, we can help make a little bit better, right? So this has been great. I just wanted to thank you guys for sure for being here.
I know I look like a scruffy, half-baked Australian yokel, but I called this right 6 months ago when I published...
This guy cracks me. I hope I get to meet him. What's his real name? I don't know this dude's real name. I hope I get to meet Alchemical Science at the Cosmic Summit. I am really looking forward to going to the Cosmic Summit. Apparently Robert Schock is also going to be there at the Cosmic Summit, who's archaeologist, I believe. Chad and Sherry know him personally. So I'm going to meet a lot of people in person that I definitely look up to. It's going to be pretty sweet.
My first video covering the Thunderstorm Generator before I'd even seen the thing with my own eyes. Just what Malcolm was saying made sense. And I'll call it again now with even more certainty. The science behind the Thunderstorm Generator is going to change the world.
Snap! He's saying it, chat. He's saying it. He's saying the same stuff that I just said, right? It's going to change the world. It really is. The question I'm going to ask Malcolm Bendall is, what are the other applications of this science? Like, he either chose or was chosen to go down this path of it becoming an engine, right? But there's other applications for this science for sure. Plasmoids is not just limited to this.
Malcolm Bendall's invention is going to solve a number of global issues and be rolled out in a massive way. And Bob Granier will go down in history as the man who proved it did what it said on the box and showed us that ball lightning is a real and empirically observable phenomena that can be synthetically reproduced in a number of ways. So Bob's work with Dr. Bin Juan Huang is incredibly important to consider here too. The peer-reviewed paper published in Nature that they recently co-authored together with their colleagues brought bubble cavitation and ball lightning into the mainstream academic sphere, and it's really laid the groundwork for everything Bob is now finding in the Thunderstorm Generator and all.
Does he have a teleprompter? How is he doing this? I need a teleprompter or something. I got to figure out how he's pulling it off. You guys, I never would have thought about all this stuff except for when you start to become a podcaster and try to make videos, you're like, how do these people pull this off? Even the lights and everything, right? So many tricks to everything. So yes, he just mentioned the paper, guys. So if you haven't read the paper, you can look through my post history or just search it for Bob Grenier, and you can find the paper in Nature where Bob Grenier showed that there was over unity. So how is this going to change the world? The answer is we're talking about cold fusion. We're talking about the power of a sun here, right? Now, of course, right now we're at the very beginning stages of it, where we are proving it empirically through engineering that the Thunderstorm generator in its current application, what it does is it is a engine that produces no exhaust. And not only does it produce no exhaust, no pollution, but it also increases the fuel efficiency. So this still uses right now combustion engines, but it makes them more efficient. It produces excess oxygen, and it produces no byproducts, because what it does is it pumps the CO2 back into the machine. And that's where you see this effect here. I'll pull it up again. On the Thunderstorm generator. So when you look at this, the hot exhaust gas, this is the CO2 getting pumped back into the outer chamber, and then the inner chamber has cold water coming through it. And what this does is it causes two different spin effects to occur, right, of charged particles, the anti-clockwise and the clockwise. And then from this effect, this is creating some type of cold fusion nuclear reaction is occurring, and this is what Bob is testing. And what they found we've watched some of the other videos in the past, is that this is actually like, it can create, like, completely destroy the pipes, especially if they're not produced to the very specific ratios, which is a 2-3-4 ratio, I think is what they need. Which means there has to be the exact distance between this in order for this to not, like, basically rip apart and get just melted or annihilated, for lack of a better word. And so what he's talking about here is that this comes down to something called ball lightning, plasmoids, whatever you want to call them for the most part. But yeah, vortex power, essentially. And don't worry, guys, when the time comes, I'll have some companies for you guys to look into. What I would say is there are some famous people that are investing in cold fusion, and this is going to be one aspect or one possible way where cold fusion can be produced.
Two. It's all of this correlating data combined that's really pushed this over the line, and it's showed us beyond a doubt that ball lightning is occurring in these systems. All of these different inventions and experiments, they're just beginning to form one solid and cohesive foundation to understand the phenomena, but we're finding the same results in these different systems, and ball lightning's there, plasmoids there. This is the future of technology. So I'll play another short clip of Bob just talking about what's coming next and
degree of archaeology, paleontology.
And real quick, Bobby Shock would have been a great name, Tubacabra. But I like Tubacabra a lot too. Blue Alien is pretty where it's at, honestly. Okay, here we go.
And so much that has been, we're not going to be the talk of the town in a positive way with this finding. And if it's corroborated by experiments in the supernova reactor with fresh charcoal, there's got to be some serious questions asked about whether, that carbon dating can be relied upon for actually dating things. So
what he just said right there is really big, right? He said, can carbon dating really be accurate for dating certain things? Because how would we know that we're not seeing these types of reactions naturally occurring, right? If these types of reactions, cold fusion reactions, can produce carbon-14, it brings into question any carbon dating related to carbon-14 at all, right? Because these guys came back and said, hey, what you found was 30,000 years old. And Bob's laughing because he's like, no, it's not. I literally just produced this. Like this, we created this from scratch, right? And that's the rub here. So pretty interesting stuff. Also, quick plug to Cosmic Summit. If you are in our Discord, I've been told I'm going to get some online passes for some of the members. I don't know how many I'm going to get. I will probably be doling those out first to some of the administrators who've helped out a lot. I do want to get a few extras for other people. I may do some giveaways on my streams for those. The in-person passes are very expensive, just like they are for any convention or whatever you would go to, including like the Contact in the Desert. I think there's several $100s for those. If you have that disposable income and are interested, absolutely suggest you go and do that. But otherwise, you can check out a lot of the stuff online. I'll be taking videos as well while I'm there. I'm going to bring my camera set up. I might even do some live stream from there as well if the internet's good enough. We'll see how it plays out. But I plan on doing some content for you guys from the event.
The moving on from this, I've spoken to Malcolm. It's very, very important that we can gather more material from the rest of that 24-inch sphere and look for these 13 to 12 carbon ratios, which will show the intermediary that we're hypothesizing gets us to carbon 14, and also the 15 nitrogen over 14 nitrogen, which will show if nitrogen is in the system, it is synthesizing the heavier isotope through the addition of a neutron. And then the other set of tests that we have an opportunity to do is to look at the ratio of oxygen 18 over oxygen 16. And of course, if you looked at the work of Shishkin, and there's another video that I'm going to finish translating, which is Sergei Godin. He's referring to work that was done at Dubna, the Nuclear Research Center north of Moscow. This is not public work, but they were specifically using specific frequencies to excite water into a, and I will talk about this when I...
So basically saying here that there are other elements as well that will just help to prove what's going on, including, I think, one of the isotopes of nitrogen. So let's skip ahead a little bit here.
Carbon 12 and neon 22. So what's happening now is lifting all boats right now. We have a very clear mechanism of magnetohydrodynamics that is leading to the stepwise and bulk transmutation of material. And with that, what I can say is, what is going to happen if I can do the stream tomorrow? You absolutely do not want to miss it. Do not miss the stream tomorrow. Why am I saying that? I'm saying that because the data that I have found on the outside of the inside of Bin Juan Huang's, DHX2 here, and putting that in combination with the data that I've already been sharing of VCS5RT, this will absolutely nail this to the wall. I think even a...
So the beauty of what he's saying here is that there are multiple people who are doing experiments, right? And everybody's experiments are kind of overlapping. When he says bringing everybody up, it's kind of the same thing we are trying to do with the community. I was talking to Tupacabra and Red, Panda, Koala a little bit about this, right? Is that what we need to do is we need to bring each other up. We need to lift each other up on social media. Bob and these guys are exceptionally good at the science, right? The part they need help with is the promotion, getting it out to the normal people. A lot of people look at this type of stuff and it just goes right over their head, right? This is what I feel like I'm pretty good at doing, which is listening to what they're saying. And I'm no science expert or anything like that, right? But when they explain the stuff, I can understand it on a common level, right? We're talking about alchemy, we're talking about over unity, we're talking about cold fusion, and these are the things that are going to end up changing the world, right? Now, he's digging down 50 layers deep into it, understands the science of it, etc.
5-year-old could look at the data that I hope to share with you tomorrow, and they will know that this is how it works. And I'm hopefully going to edit what I captured yesterday, on which I'm going to base my talk tomorrow. But it is earth-shatteringly stunning, and it is a real finding, and it makes extremely clear how these magnetohydrodynamic structures are both structured on each stage of formation and what they can do in terms of synthesizing new matter.
Yeah. Also, Bob is rocking those red glasses out. Bravo, sir. Bravo. When I see Bob, I'm probably gonna hug him, guys. I'm probably just going in straight for the hug. Honestly, I don't even think we're at the handshake level. I think we're just at straight up hug level at this point, which is kind of weird because I've never met him in person. But yeah, it's just love talking to him. Also, he's in a famous studio here. This is where he recorded on the Foxhole as well. Guys, does anyone know if he did the stream that he was just talking about here? And hey, Sandy, welcome. I don't know if he did the stream because this was 2 days ago. Yeah. So we might have to go after this and check out his YouTube channel and see. This got a decent amount of views, for a small channel like this. 4,000 views, pretty decent.
So that's it for now. Absolutely incredible result. And I just wanted to do a quick video to announce it straight away, as I've been waiting this out and building up to it a bit in my previous videos. So thank you to Bob for getting it done and moving this thing along in huge leaps.
Good job, Alchemial Scientist. Or Alchemial Science. Great job, man. Did anyone tell me what his name was? I don't want to be super awkward. Doesn't say anywhere. Feels like he should say his name at the beginning of his streams. Bob Grenier. Oh, he is going to be at the Cosmic Summit. Johanna James, Randall Carlson. I mean, look at this lineup, guys. I can't wait to meet these people. I can't wait to have martinis with these people and get a little bit too drunk and just start gushing over them like a little fangirl. It's gonna be funny. It's gonna be fun and funny all at the same time. It's gonna be great. Yeah, the military-industrial complex has been hiding this for probably 70 years. It's crazy to think about that, but it seems like they have. So was this the one where he was doing it?
100 magnification and
Yeah, so the problem with, and I've told Bob this, like, this is like hardcore science stream, right? Like 3 hours of deep science. Like, I can't even keep up with this, right? But I understand the implications of what he's talking about. He's looking at the very microscopic scales and looking for very specific patterns, looking for what the cause and effect is, any type of transmutation, all those things that we just spoke about. Oh yeah, it's gonna be wild, chat. It's gonna be wild. So Cosmic Summit. Wait, let's go back to that. Actually, no, I think we'll probably just end there. Let me see. Yeah, I think we'll wind down here. So Cosmic Summit, gonna be sick. Can't wait to go there. Like I said, I'm gonna be doing some, I don't know if I'm gonna do a stream from the Cosmic Summit. I certainly would like to, but if not, I am gonna be taking video. I'm gonna bring my video camera. I'll bring my laptop. I'll figure out how to make it work. And like I said before, I'm gonna try to upgrade some of my production quality here. So Hard Truths, I'm going to do some slight edits to the Brad Voorhees one. And then I'm gonna get Tupacabra and Heather Birdie to help me out with some of my production quality content. Maybe they can show me how to use Canva correctly. And I'm gonna change my Hard Truths podcast to Ashton Forbes' Hard Truths with XYZ, whoever the guest is. I'm gonna get Brad Voorhees on there. He'll be the Hard Truths number 9. And then I'll also publish Martin Gibson, Unification Theory of Quantum Gravity. With my discussion with him, do a little bit of editing on that. So a couple more podcasts are coming out. And then I have a few other people that I've been talking to, getting lined up for some additional podcasts, which I'm not going to announce ahead of time. But there's some names you guys will recognize. I think they'll be very good conversations. And I'm really looking forward to them, guys. So anything else that we want to ask in the chat? I'm not seeing anything. So I think I'm going to call it early there for tonight, guys. Tomorrow, I am going to be working again all day. I've been working really hard this week on my normal job, so that's why I haven't had time for a lot of other stuff. But I am going to try to get out, like I was showing you guys at the beginning of the stream, not really refuting. I'm not really trying to take an adversarial stance against some of these other people that are putting out their MH370 stuff. But I do want to show how a lot of these YouTubers that are out there are not really doing a deep investigation, right? So I am planning on doing a video that'll probably be under 10 minutes, if I can make it under 10 minutes, which goes over the Mentor pilot video and what they missed, what they left out, where they weren't like 100% accurate on. And I will also potentially do the same thing for the Ross Coulthart one. So if Ross Coulthart is out there, buddy, do a good job, man. If you don't do a good job, you're going to make me make a video. And I don't want to make a video that goes through all the evidence that you missed. So go out there and do the MH370 situation justice. You don't have to give me credit, whatever, but you should probably at least mention the videos. But if not, at least go through the fire scenario. If you are investigating MH370 and you are not looking into the fire scenario, you are not doing the case justice. Simple as that. Anyway, MH370X crew, thank you very much for watching our short stream tonight. Hope you enjoyed the Thunderstorm generator. Feel free to watch some other videos and research the Thunderstorm generator because it is going to be coming up in the game. I imagine there'll be many more amazing results coming up between now and this summer. So be on the lookout. I will throw one Discord invite into the chat for the first 10 people that want to join. You can join the Discord. The only reason why I limit it is because otherwise we get trolls. And you can follow along with us. You can chat along with us, have a good time, whatever. Very low-key, chill Discord. Thanks, guys. Have a good night. Appreciate y'all. Peace.